please welcome to the stage, Ben Poe!
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Hi. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for coming. Straight off the bat, I gotta tell you, I don't know how this is going to go. I truly don't know. This is always the way with live comedy, but particularly at the moment, I've forgotten how to speak to people. I haven't spoken to people in a while. I've forgotten how to. I work at a bookshop at the moment, and the other day I finished a transaction with a customer, and they said thank you, and I just went, no choice. So I don't know. Look, the reason I haven't spoken to many people recently is because, and this is true, just some context for the gig. 2 weeks ago, I went into hospital with severe abdominal pain, and I had my appendix removed, which, yes, is, if you don't know what the appendix is, it's like a little sort of pepper army that just sits on your large intestine, and it's like a kind of a mystery organ, right? Like no one really knows what it does, and it doesn't do anything really. No one, like, you can take it out and it doesn't matter. It's this sort of little liberal Democrat that sort of hangs on the... just there. It's not really an organ, it's a stowaway. Like, it's just like it doesn't do anything. And I don't want to overstate the fact that I've had surgery. You know, I want laughs and not pity, right? But, and what I would say is, like, in terms of surgery, it's like not the highest one. It's like they do them all the time. It's like super regular. If like triple bypass is up here, it's like down here with like circumcision and like haircut. Like, it's not... It's like not a big deal, like it. But it is fair to say this is a post-op show, so like, you know, the show could go in two ways. You know, it could go a bit rusty because I've had surgery, or it could be the best I've ever been. Like, that's the other option, right? Because I've cut out the dead wood. Like I've cleared all my cookies. Do you know what I mean? Like I've just got rid of everything. It's all just purrs like a Lexus now. It's just like everything. I've Marie Kondoed my abdomen. My appendix was not sparking joy. It was causing diarrhea. So yes. So that's how the show could go. If you like the jokes, laugh at them. If you don't, just let them wash over you like Enya. That's what we're going for, really. The appendix, I have to say, was not a surprise in some ways. In that, like, my body has been betraying me a lot recently. It comes to us all. Age is coming. I hate to be the one to tell you, but I found it particularly weird over the last couple of years because, like, it's really sprung up on me. Like, I went into the pandemic in my mid-20s, and I've come out 30, and I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I went in wanting a girlfriend, I've come out wanting an allotment. Like, that's... Like, it's just like, I'm a lump now. Like, everything has changed. Like, truly, this is genuinely true. In the last couple of years, I became a dad. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Not really, just sort of spiritually. I just feel like one, you know. Just like tired all the time. I wear fleeces and say hiya, like that sort of thing. Grim, you know. If you pass me in a narrow corridor, I'll go ooh. I make my own muesli now. That's happening. I had a dream the other day. The dream was top to bottom. I went to Curry's. That was it. That's the whole dream. So yeah, I've lumpified. It's changed. But I think there's some good bits. There's some good bits about getting older. I think there's like some things. Your taste changes quite a lot, which is quite nice. I've embraced tapas. That was not the case in my early 20s. Oh my God. No chance. Is anyone here 25 or younger, by the way? Give me a woo. Oh, okay. Some hope at the back of the room. Fine. In zone 3 over there. Yeah, nice. Okay, lovely. I mean, when I was like your age, truly, like if I went to a tapas restaurant and saw a table full of tapases, tapai, if I saw, I would be like, who has laid this table for a cat? Like, what are all these sauces? What is this? Fucking starters forever. That's not a meal, that's a curse. This is horrible. What is this? Thumbelina's leaving do? What are all these, like, canapes? I came for a meal, not a wake. Why is there, like, it's anti-pasty? Where's the pasty? Like, that's what I'm after. This is fucking foreplay. Where's the sex? You know? Foreplay for hours and hours and hours. And then you get to 30 and you realise, that's pretty good. That's what we're after, really, isn't it? It's tapas, the fingering of fine dining. The eating out of eating out. Okay, that's the last one. That's the last one. But no, it has, my taste had changed. I like it, same with coffee now. Like coffee, in my early 20s, I would have drunk any type of coffee, anything at all. Lawnmower fuel, just like the worst, horrible. Now, I am a snobby little bitch about coffee. I will only be served coffee by two types of people, okay? First type of person, old Italian man. The older the better. The wrinklier the better, Size of a walnut, surface area of a circus tent. Like, that's what you want. Face like a map of Norway, like a crunchy little gentleman, he'll sort you out, okay? So he's good. And the other person, much more prevalent, particularly in London, man bun. Oh boy, is man bun. I love man. The guy dressed as the blacksmith, the carpenter's apron, he'd come in from the forge, but it's a cappuccino, that guy. He's got like all the piercings on his face, gothic camping equipment holding his face together, hook, line, sinker, a chain on his ear, you pull it, a toilet somewhere flushes, that guy. His name's Francois, he's from Guildford. He's an asshole, but he's got a PhD in milk and he'll sort you out. So I like that stuff. That's changed. I started smoking, that was another one. I didn't realize I would go, only a little bit, not loads. I don't even like tobacco. It's a social thing, You get awkward in a conversation. It's nice to have a little prop. Just a boop boop, it's nice. Ding, ding. Lovely. Which is a dreadful reason to start smoking. Because it's essentially your brain being like, oh, this conversation's not going very well. Kill yourself. Do it slowly. And in a French way. That's so I don't like it. It was particularly weird doing the smoking during the pandemic as well. That was such a weird thing because you'd go in. I found myself like putting on a mask to walk into a shop and get cigarettes, which is like that's what like putting on a condom to get beheaded. Like what is that? What's the logic there? Totally ridiculous. But no, it has felt weird getting like that. Because I look back at my early 20s and I look back at it with nostalgia, but it was not a good time. I did not know how to look after myself at all. I didn't know how any machines worked, and I fixed nothing ever, We used to have a washing machine, and I never understood the hieroglyphs around the dial. So I just spin it like a croupier. Just like, put it all on wool, ha! Putting change in the drawers. It's like no idea how the thing works. Our dishwasher broke, and because it kept asking for salt, and I didn't believe it. So you don't put salt in a dishwasher. I'm sorry. I want my plate to be clean, not delicious. Like that's not. What are you talking about? We didn't pay attention to the sell-by dates on any food. We were disgusting. Like people are a bit like, oh, this cream is off, and I'd be like, no, it's vintage. Like that's like not acceptable. We had like a house party, and there was like some ham in our fridge, and someone took it out and was like flapping it around, being like, this is 2 months out of date. This is disgusting. You have to get rid of this. And someone in the flat genuinely said, oh, don't worry about it, man. Time's a construct. So we ate the ham. And we all had terrible dreams. And then instead of throwing the ham away, we just started calling the ham Nightmare Ham. Our own private meaty ayahuasca. Take this. It's didn't know how to look after themselves. And it's kind of the there was always like things that would just break, and I didn't know how to deal with it. Like my laptop broke. I had this laptop, still do, not to brag, and things are going fine. And I broke the keyboard on it. Right, I snapped off one of the keys came off the thing, the I key came off, just the I key. And does anyone here work in tech or anything? Give me a woo. Yeah, okay, right. So you guys know more than I do about all of this shit. Underneath each little keyboard, right, there's a little, underneath each button, there's a sort of plastic contact nipple, right? The little thing, And so every time I wanted to press the letter I had to just reach inside the computer and massage the teat of the lap, just milking it for vowels, just please, it's something, and it was horrible. It was little C-3PO's little clitoris in there. It felt sexual because every time you pressed it, the screen would go I. So it's very do you know what I mean? I'm not sure about that one, but it's fine. But it's you can't, because the letter I, right? You can't stop using the letter I, can you? The letter I is in so many English words, including the word I. You can't stop using I. You can't use me instead. You sound like the fucking Cookie Monster. Writing emails being me hope you are well. That's not normal, is it? Me, I'm sorry for your loss. True story. No, imagine. So I don't know. Yeah, I was so disorganized when I was that age. Didn't know. And it's weird when you're like that, I think, as a general person. But as a stand-up comedian, you have to have a certain amount of organization because the job involves a lot of stuff. There's a lot of admin. I travel for gigs all the time. And when I was younger, I would just get on a train and pray. I had no idea where I was. I did a gig in Manchester once, which if you've never been, what a dream. Go to Manchester. The London of England, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, right? And I went, and I was it's a long trip, right? I had to stay overnight, so I was staying at a hostel. And again, if you don't know what a hostel is, it's a hotel that's gone off, and it's a hostile hotel. It's in the name. So I was checking in there, and I was hi, can I get a room, please? And I gave the lady my card, and she was oh, I'm sorry, that's been declined. There's no money on that card. I was oh God, I'm so sorry. You try my other card, and that also did not have any money on it. And at that point, she was how would you like to pay? Because that's how we do things here. And I was oh, I'm so sorry. There must have been some sort of admin error. I've administratively forgotten not to spend all of my money. And so I was fuck, I gotta go and try and find something. So I went out to an ATM to try and trick the robot into giving me some money, and it didn't work. And I was fuck, at this point I've got to just go and do the gig. I've just got to go and do it. So I was went over to the club, and it was this place called the Frog and Bucket in Manchester, and it had that night there were 2 Weatherspoons work dues in on either side of the room. And what people don't understand a lot about bar stuff is bar stuff are a bit like teachers or nurses, right? Where they work really hard. They get paid, they have shit hours and shit pay, and it's just the whole thing is really intense, right? Which means that when they're outside of work and they're having fun all together, their main MO is to burn the world. So they were doing that, and I happened to be doing comedy between them. But we got through it. I paced through it, and I was by the end I was just walking out of the venue, being I've got away with this. And then the promoter came up to me and was oh look, here's a little envelope. And I took the envelope. I was what is this? And they were oh, it's your pay. And I was oh my God, I didn't realize I was getting paid. And I opened it, and there was £20 in there. And I was yes. Pope sleeps tonight. Yeah. So I took it, and I went to the hostel, and I was 1 room, please. And it was a happy ending. I got a room. It was so nice. Perfect for me. Thank you. Yeah. But it was very weird for the lady behind the till. Because at 6 p.m, I had no money. And then I went away for 4 hours. And I came back with an envelope with a crisp £20 note in it. What have I done in that time? What have I... Nothing good that you can think of, is it? There's nothing. Drug deal, sex, juggling? There's no good... And if it is sex, what sex act only costs £20? I high-fived someone's penis. What's the... Whispered a secret into someone's arsehole. It was I'm Banksy. So not an organised human being. Though we used to get I was so gullible at that age. We used to get we get conned all the time. I was just such a little feckless goblin. I didn't know how anything worked. I remember we used to get there was 4 of us all living in this flat together, and I was the weak link. The charity people would go for me all the time. These charity guys, sort of charity muggers, would come to the door of our flat and try and they'd be like, "Hi, do you would you like to give money to this thing?" And this guy came once and he was like, can I get your details down? Do you have any flat surfaces so I can write them down? I was like, yes, of course. And then he came into our house, and then obviously they have control of what you say and do. That's very, very smart, really. Because that phrase, "Do you have any flat surfaces?" You can't be like, "No." What in there? No, it's just balls in there. Balls everywhere. Spheres, spherical. The table, the sofa. You put something down, you've lost it. I haven't sat down in 7 years. So I just get tricked all the time. The worst one that ever happened, the worst, this is so bad. We, milk started getting delivered to our flat that we did not order. Just surprise milk. Just started appearing on the doorstep. And it was like 4 pints. And we were amazed because we just moved to London and we didn't realise there was room service. So we were like, oh my God, great, fantastic. We brought it inside, we put it inside. And the next day, more, the same amount again. And the day after, the same amount again. By the end of the week, our fridge was just full of milk. We looked insane. It looked like we were stockpiling milk. We were the idiots at the end of the world who just filled the bunker with perishable items. Just fresh fish and avocados. Fingers crossed, boys. We'll get there. We eventually were like, this is ridiculous. We have to leave a note for the milkman. So we started leaving notes. We were like, please, we don't have any more milk. And they ignored the note and left more milk. And then the same thing the next day. We were like, please don't want. And they were like, we'll leave some more milk. And it was like trying to have a conversation with someone who could only communicate through the medium of milk. Do you know what I mean? Because we'd be like, no more milk. And they'd be like, milk. And we'd be like, no. And they'd be like, milk. And eventually we were like, look, we're going to get the law involved if you don't stop doing this. And they replied with a resounding milk. And eventually, they sent us the bill, right? And that's when it, really freaked out, because the bill was £125 for, 2 weeks of milk. And I was, and the reason was because it was, super fancy, fair trade organic milk, which, I'm on board with, but not if I'm paying for it by surprise. Do you know what I mean? In that scenario, I don't want the cow with the ensuite bathroom. I want, the one with the black eye and 2 tails, please. That's what I want. The dyslexic one that glows. That's what I'm after. Right? Enjoy that image. I had to ring them up, basically, is what it turned out to. I had to ring up the company, the dairy company, to be like, you gotta stop. And I rang them up, and the lady on the end of the phone, the first thing she said was, look, we understand. Maybe we can, squeeze your order down. So it's once a fortnight. And that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Because it's a smaller amount. That makes sense. But if you boil the conversation down, it's still me going, no milk. And her going, milk? You want some milk? And I was like, no, we can't use anymore. I don't know, I'm not growing a cosmic baby. There's no reason, how would I ever use this milk ever in my life? There's please, we do not want any more milk. And then she said this, and I quote this verbatim. She said, but if you cancel your order, the milkman will be sad. It's how needy is this milkman? Hire some more emotionally stable employees, please. He's going to start delivering pints of tears to the door. What is the deal here? Also, that phrase, if you cancel your order, the milkman will be sad. It sounds like someone about don't cry over spilt milk through Google Translate 19 times. What does that mean? I didn't say any of that, of course, which I should have done. No, what I said was, fine, and we got it for 2 more weeks. Try convincing anyone you're an adult man when you have to get your own mother to ring up a dairy company you've never heard of to cancel milk you didn't order so you don't upset a milkman you've never met. It's fucking pathetic. I don't know. Yeah, but my mum really looked after me on that one. She's good. Love my mum. Good lass. I stayed with my parents during lockdown. That's where I was landed, which was fine, which is okay. I don't know where you guys spend yours, but it's not. Parents are nice for a while. It's nice. Family time's good. All my friends at the time during lockdown were like, oh my God, you must be, at family time, you must be so relaxed. Oh, so relaxed. What, family time? You feeling relaxed? It's not the right thing, is it? That's not the right, to be like, oh, you're relaxed. It's like asking someone who's just survived a tsunami if they feel moisturized. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like, family time's like water. It's like very nourishing, and then at a certain point you drown. And that's like just what it's like. It's fine. It's nice. You learn a lot about people when you spend that much time with them, I learned my family hoard like crazy. Oh my God, they love to collect stuff. They do this thing called upcycling. Do you know this phrase? Upcycling? Yeah. Basically, if you know what it is, you find something, you get it for free, and this is the smart part. You put it in the corridor, and you trip over it on the way to the loo at night for a decade. It's so green. It's such what a good initiative. And they're amazing. They have this amazing ability to see like a future career in an object. They'll see like this old broom handle. The broom handle could be a walking stick, or that milk pot could be a plant pot, or our son could be a lawyer, and it never happens. And that's fine. I don't mind it too much, but it just like the house fills up. The house is so full, and I'm going to end up with this stuff because my parents own their house. I'm going to get their house eventually. That's the only way our generation can buy houses. Houses don't cost money anymore; they cost relatives. So, so I'm just going to end up with all this stuff, and it's not useful stuff, It's not like sometimes you talk to people who hoard, and they're like, oh, my parents, like, they have loads of antique vases. You're like, that's not hoarding, okay? Real hoarding is when you go into your dad's garage and you find a suitcase full of pine cones. What is he doing with those? Fucking hell, you're trying to kidnap Autumn, Dad? What is this? Blackmailing a tree? Give me the money or I'll burn the children. Like, that's not normal, is it? So I was like, Dad, do you owe squirrels money? And he said, no, the reason is, like, Mum loves pine cones. She loves, like, decorating the house, and she'll put them on, like, the mantelpiece or whatever. Which is lovely. It's so cute. So if he goes on a walk, he'll pick one up and he'll bring it home with him. He'll put it in the suitcase in the garage. Which is sweet, but it's also creepy. Keeping anything in a suitcase in your garage is creepy. Being like, oh, I love autumn, therefore the suitcase of pine cones. It's like being like, oh, I'm a people person because I've got one in the boot. Like, it's... Do you know what I mean? So I don't trust them, is my point. No. They looked after me. They were very nice to me while I was not being able to do stand-up and stuff. And, what I was trying to do throughout lockdown, the main thing was, expanding the brand. That's what I was going for, By which I mean putting on weight. It's really acquiring some assets. That's what I've been up to. A large merger with Burger King has come through. It's got really bad now. I am a fucking goujon of a man. Now I am a chicken nugget in a shirt. That's all. All of my clothes feel like I'm walking to a heavy wind all of the time. Just all the time. And I know you're looking at me being like, it's not that bad. But you don't remember. You don't remember what I was like before the pandemic. I used to look like this. I was a pencil. Now I'm a highlighter. Truly. It's the other day I was walking out of the house and I saw myself in a mirror and I said out loud, yes, I know. That's where we're at. And I think it's weird. I think it's weird now, particularly with like all the body positive stuff, because like I want to like it all, but it's hard. I think you have like two choices, right? When you don't like your body, you change it. You go all in. Rocky, bing bong. I'm gonna. I don't know the words. CrossFit. I don't know. Or the alternative, you learn to love it. That's the thing. And I've tried both ways, and neither has worked. I've tried to eat better. I've tried salad. I have tried to love salad so much. It's just bits. It's just bits. Salad is detritus. It's rubble. Salad's like what's left over after a vegan explodes. Like it's activist confetti. It's like nothing. It's just because you can't cook a salad, can you? You can't make a salad. If you're a chef that makes a salad, I'm sorry, you're a florist. Like that. You're a savory florist. That's what you are. I never looked at a bunch of flowers and been like, I'm hungry. Like, that's never happened, I'll admit, sometimes you'll eat a salad and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm full. How's this happened? My God, what the fuck? How's this? What voodoo is this? I'm full after a salad. What? And then you realize it's full of cheese. And that's cheating, isn't it? That's not a salad. Full of cheese, covered in bacon, swimming in enough oil to start a war. That's not a salad. If I filled a pie with MDMA and was like, do you like that? Yes, I like the pie. I love the pie. I love everything. You know, the pie falls under everything. I don't know. So I've tried that. I've also tried to learn to love that. This is not good. Particularly, and I don't just mean me, I mean the male body is rubbish. What a sham. What a fraud. No breasts. Not one. Not one. Just this. Milkless wedges of back fat. I don't want these. Decorative nipples. Ornamental nipples. What? This is useless. I can't use these for anything. Like, disappoint babies. That's all. Like, babies look at my chest the same way I look at a 24-hour McDonald's that's closed. What the fuck? Wow. Why'd you put the signage up? Like, what the fuck? Oh, I'm hungry! Oh, male pattern baldness, that's something we get. Your hair goes from here, and where does it go? Your back. Great. Joy. And male genitalia. My goodness. I'm sorry to bring it up, but what is going on down there? What mad aquatic butcher put that shit together? Oh, lumps and nozzles, and it goes in one direction, it goes in every direction. It's like, it's horrible winter grapes. Like, it's like this sort of tripe bouquet. It's like, oh, it's like God saw the body and was like, it's good, but I do love a balloon animal. Like, it's like real. You get between someone's legs finally, and you're like, depressed elephant, lovely, just in time. Every penis looks like an arrogant deep-sea fish that's being flanked by two elderly bodyguards. You know? Because balls are like... I'm still going. Balls are like... balls are ridiculous. It's like it's the future of the human, you know? That's my legacy. That's my family. That's my bloodline. That's my DNA. And where is it? In two fragile poached eggs hanging in the area of maximum friction. Can you catch them in a door? Yes, you can. I've done the research. You weren't sure about that bit, were you? But we got there, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I do think, though, if you're worried about your body, all this stuff, you have to... What I've decided to do, anyway, is to make myself some promises, Make some promises to yourself. I'm no longer lying to my doctor. Particularly after the appendix, I was like, no more. Because, in hospital, I was lying there, and they ask you these questions, mean questions. How much do you drink? And you have to sit there being like, drink. I don't even eat. I stare at vegetables until we surrender. They're horrible. And you have to be like, I don't know, 1 unit, maybe 1 unit, maybe two units a week, maybe like 7, maybe like 24 like storage units of alcohol. I don't know. It's the same with the dentist. You can't lie to the dentist because the dentist looks in your mouth, which is where the lies came from. Oh. And they're like, do you brush? And you're like, yes. And then like your teeth, and you're like, That's really tricky, So I'm like, I'm trying to be better with that. You got to do, I did the, got to check yourself. You got to do that stuff. I did an STI check the other day. Thank you. Has anyone here done an STI check recently? Give me a woo. Okay. Not enough. The rest of you rotten apples, I suppose. Also, I know my flatmate is in here somewhere on a date, so that's fun. Anyway. Good luck, Maya. Anyway, I did one recently because, I had sex recently, which is... thank you. Yes. And by recently, I mean in living memory. And I Because it's important to do them, I think. I did the DIY one, right? That you do it at home, which is not the gentlemanly way of doing it, I think. I think the gentlemanly way is like, you cross the borough. You have all the finest physicians in the region examine your dick. But I didn't do that. I did the one where you piss in a sachet and you make a postman hold it. That one. Which is fun. Because that's what you have to do. You pee in a sachet, you do the little blood sacrifice, and then you put it in a post box, which feels like that close to vandalism. It's like really intense, And I was doing it, and I did the little you pee in the sachet thing, and there's a really fun bit where you pour it into the test tube, And if you catch yourself in the mirror, it's really fun because you're just like, hello, Einstein. Oh. Get CERN on the phone. We've got a scientist on our hands. Hello. So I did that, and I put that in the envelope, second class, because I was quietly confident. And then I did the blood bit, and the blood bit, much more difficult. Oh my goodness, such a nightmare. Yeah. That's the sound of relatability in real time. There it was. Yeah. The blood bit, basically, if you've not done it, you get 3 goes. You get to pinprick your fingers, and then you put some blood into a little chest tube. So I tried this one first. No blood in that whole finger. That whole empty sausage of a finger, nothing going on at all. I was like, fucking hell. We tried this one. Also nothing. And at that point I was like, forget chlamydia, I'm dead. There's one thing worse than having gonorrhea is being a vampire with gonorrhea. What the fuck is going on? So I was squeezing it like a toothpaste tube, just knocking the bottom of my elbow like a ketchup bottle, something. And I got 1 drop of blood and it sat on the inside of the test tube and it didn't go down to the bottom. And I was like, my blood defies gravity. This is shit fat blood. This is salsa. What the fuck is? How are we gonna test this if my blood type is black pudding? What's the hell is going on? And I was fucking freaking out about it. And so I was like, I've got one more finger. I've got this one, and this one, a bloodbath. Oh my god. The red wedding. It was just all over my clothes. I got it on my face. I was holding all these test tubes. My flatmate came in to ask for a phone charger and saw me and was like, are you okay, mate? And the only thing I could think to say was, oh, don't worry about it, man. It's a sex thing. Thank you. He did not applaud. But no, you gotta look after yourself. It's important, You gotta stay active. That's a big one. Because I have mostly spent, I'd say, the last 3 years watching more television than any other human on the planet. I've just seen everything now. I've just seen it all. I love TV so much. Particularly, I'll watch. I don't really mean I'll watch anything. I'll watch daytime TV adverts. I don't care. I'll just happy little shapes dancing in front of my eyes. Just does not matter, Because I didn't used to. I streamed for ages, right? And then I went to stay with my parents over lockdown, and they have terrestrial television, and you get to see all those daytime TV adverts again for the first time in years. And while I've been away, they've gone insane. The Compare the Market Meerkat has an expanded universe to rival the Marvel films. It's like a robot butler and kids, and it's a musical. It's crazy. My favorite daytime TV, what's between us, all adverts, are perfume adverts, because they are so powerfully stupid. They are so dumb. They're because basically, does anyone here work in advertising, by the way? Give me a woo. Great. We'll keep that for the record. That deathly silence, lovely. I want that underneath all of it. It's my fault, I shouldn't ask the question. Anyway, back on track, Ben. Let's do the material. Wasn't meant to go off script. And here we are. We can cut it. It's all fine. Everything's absolutely fine. So perfume adverts. I was... They're so unhinged, perfume adverts. It's mental. The advertising people, basically, they've worked out they've got to sell you the perfume, They've got to sell you a smell. But you can't smell the smell. So you have to describe the smell. So they do these sort of CGI poems. It's like if you gave $1 billion to a GCSE drama group to do a play about diamonds. It's always Keira Knightley on a horse in the desert, okay? And she's riding along, and she's she's biting her lower lip. She's because she's in a sexy hurry. And she's running along, and she gets to a mansion in the middle of the desert. How do they get planning permission? And And like she goes inside the mansion, and inside the mansion an orgy, obviously, and the orgy is all sailors. It's all men in sailors. That's why they're in the desert. Like it's the opposite of where they should be, and they're all like sort of like together, and then there's an altar, and on the altar is the perfume bottle, and the perfume bottle is shaped like a grenade or a vagina, and Kira comes and she grabs the bottle, and then she looks over her shoulder and she says something in French, and it doesn't matter what it is. So she'll just be like, Je suis croissant. And then it fades to black, and it's a celebrity's name and an abstract noun. So David Beckham, obituary. And that means that it smells of cinnamon. Like, that's what that means. Like, that's ridiculous. Just get rid of all of it. And just it smells of cinnamon, and then having a nose giving a thumbs up. Like, that's all you need. You know? I don't know. I have a little sort of look into the commercial world because, like, for a while, I used to audition for loads, to be in loads of commercials. In my early 20s, I used to try a lot of acting. And a lot of my friends will often be like, "Oh, we didn't realize you did that, Ben," which is a sentence that tells you exactly how well the acting went. And I went up for loads of auditions, and you do these commercials. My favorite one ever was this cereal advert, right? And it's almost as unhinged as the perfume stuff, right? Literally, like cereal, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to advertise the concept of crunch, right? So they just don't know how to do it, right? So there was basically my character in the advert was this sort of like gawky white middle class loser, I'm sorry, what? No, a role I was genetically engineered to play. And my character had basically got off with someone at a work too, you know, like a very hot lady at the work. And we were like going back to her place, and there was a bit of like, you know, kissing, and a bit of like, under the jumper action. And then she like sort of straddled me on a sofa, and then she went to go and get ready for the sex. And my character sort of leant back, and he was like on the sofa, and he like turned on a lamp, and the lamp illuminated the room, and the room was full of creepy toy dolls, like ventriloquist dolls. And he's like, ugh, this girl's psycho. So he gets up and he's leaving, and as he's leaving, he passes the kitchen, and he looks in and he sees on the countertop a beautiful bowl of cereal. At which point, it's becoming clear that my character is an absolute dog shit human being. Like, he's an arse. He's going to leave without saying goodbye, but he's distracted by theft. So he goes over and starts eating her food like a fucking pigeon, right? And then, as he's doing it, she comes back into the room. And what it said in the script was, in a Bavarian milkmaid's outfit, open brackets, but not in a good way. Close brackets, right? Which I don't know what that means, right? So for a lot of reasons, I'm feeling pretty weird about going up for this advert, you know? For starters, like, the character is an asshole. I don't feel great about going up for it. I remember at some point definitely getting an email from my agent saying, "Oh, Ben, will you be perfect for this?" I was like, well, like a gammon loser. Like, what? This is like, "Oh, Ben, we've got the perfect role for you. It's a sexually regressive coward. But there's a twist. He also steals." This is horrible. I don't know. And also, I was freaking out about it because the actual advert, when you go in to audition, they film you, right? There's a camera, and I was auditioning with the lady who was going up for the coveted Bavarian milkmaid role, you know? Right? So I was having to kiss a lady on camera to get a job, which is like a Venn diagram of all of my teenage anxieties in one go, you know? And because kissing is a skill, you know? Kissing is a skill, and it does. No, I'm just kidding. Kissing is a skill. Like, it involves you, like, if you're doing it in private at home, it doesn't matter, you know? But, like, in public with a jury, don't want to find out you've been doing kissing wrong your whole life in that room. They'd be like, "Ben, can you kiss?" And I'd be like, "Boy, can I kiss?" Goggles on. Like, you don't want to get it wrong, you know? So I'm freaking out about it, and I'm not quite sure. But also, the lady who I'm auditioning with is just objectively more attractive than me. Just the weird way that the standards go in like adverts. Like, it's always like the supermodel and the nerd, which like doesn't happen in real life, right? And I'm not being humble. Like, she was species worth of more out of my league. She was like out of my league in the same way that I'm out the league of a cocker spaniel. Like, that's, you know, and a cocker spaniel's out the league of a carrot. Like, that's the gradient we're working with. There, you know, that's the graph, you know. So I'm just really nervous about it. She goes like, "Well, look, don't worry. We start in the corner over here, okay? And we're just gonna, like, I'll turn around, I'm going to mime opening the front door to my apartment, okay? And the director comes over to me and is like, yeah, Ben, so what I want you to do while she's doing that is if you just, you put your hand on her flank, he says the word flank, like a hunk of brisket or an army or something, flank. So nothing is sexy anymore. I feel super weird about touching her flank. And I put my hand there, and then he's like, if you want to like nuzzle her neck and sort of like kiss her neck as she's opening the door. And then he turns around and goes back towards the camera and doesn't say action for fucking ages. So I'm just standing there being like, well, I've got my hand on her flank, but I don't know if I start. Do I start now? I don't want to start. I don't want to be like a creep doing overtime. Like, I don't want to, what do you do in this? And I can feel her tensing up, like, I'm not sure what are you going to do? Are you going to start now? And I'm still looking at them, and they're looking at me, and they still don't have action yet, and I'm just freaking out. I'm like, I want to get a job, but I don't want to get it wrong. And at that point, my brain comes to this compromise, and I just leant forward, and I just kissed her on top of the head. Like Jesus would kiss a disciple, just like... And I look up and I see the cameraman's eyebrow go up like that. I hear her audibly say, why? And then we just have to do the scene with all of the sexual tension of an Excel spreadsheet. Like it was... And it shouldn't have been like that, you know? And it feels so bad. And it's because of the script, you know? The script was a problem. You know, you don't need all of that stuff. What you need would be me in a cereal advert, looking over my shoulder in like a big cereal costume, just going, je ne suis pas croissant. And then... Keira Knightley, Parage. That's all you need. Oh, fucking Quaker Oats. Aye, aye, aye. It wasn't Quakers. It was Crunchy Nut. It's fine. Right, guys. Thank you for coming. I'll leave you with this. Most of this show, I realised as I was doing this material, is like it's all just like, oh, I suck. You know, that's the like theme of the show. Apparently, is that I suck. But I actually don't think that's true. Like, I've been like really trying, you know, turning 30, I want to get some skills, you know. I'm trying to level up, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm learning to drive at the moment, you know. That's what I'm doing. That's my big thing. Thank you, patronising, but that's fine. And then I'm just kidding. No, it's just very embarrassing, you know, because I'm a 30-year-old with like a provisional driving license, which is embarrassing, isn't it? You know, just like provisional driving license, the most embarrassing piece of card you can own. Because it's provisional, there's a proviso, and it's a really big proviso. Because it's like a piece of card that says, I can drive if I learn to drive. Which, like, what a big if that is, isn't it? It's a laminated piece of hope that I carry around in my wallet. Police officers are like, can you drive? And I'm like, one day. It's my greatest wish. So I'm learning to drive, and I hate it. I'm so bad at it. Oh man, it's tough. I hate it. It's just, I know it freaks me out. It makes me so angry because like every time I finish a session, I'm like holding onto the steering, and I let go of the steering wheel, and my hands go like that, like octopus tentacles, and I was just like changing gear should be illegal. No one should have to do that. You shouldn't have to drive a car and do hip surgery on a car at the same time. That's insane. But I gotta learn. You know, I have to learn for lots of reasons. Firstly, because as I say, I'm 30. You know. It's embarrassing. Also, I've got a family. I've got to drive them around. That's something. But mainly because I cannot take the night bus again. I just can't do it anymore. I've done it my whole 20. All those parties you come back from and you get on the night bus. It's fun on the night bus. Yeah. A lie. The night bus is a bad time. And I don't mean the bus, by the way. I love the bus. The bus is a dream. I love every bit about the difference between the bus and the night bus is like the difference between Horlicks and Rohypnol. Like that's, do you know what I mean? It's just like evil, bizarre. The bus is great. You know, you're sitting there, little community sport vehicle, you see everyone, you're hanging out with people, you can look over people's shoulder and read what they're typing. I love to do that. The other day I was like walking through someone on the bus and I looked at the little screen and this lady was texting her mum, and the reason I know she was texting her mum was because her mum was saved in her phone as my mum. Isn't that cute? But it's also like, there must be so many mums on her phone. She has to delineate which one is hers. You know, this is a 40-year-old lady who would have looked at the word mum on her phone and been like, well, that could be anyone. Like, you know. Do you know what I mean? Also, the word my there is the weird bit, isn't it? But that's not even the weirdest pronoun that could be there. Imagine if I looked it over the shoulder and it just said, your mum. And she'd been like, ah, gotcha. You know. So I love the bus. The bus is great. Happy little vehicle. Bing bong. Press the button. Ding. Off we go. Bang bong 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 bing. Bing bong. Boop boop. Off we go. Ding dong. Great fun. Ding dong. Love it. The night bus is a fucking ferry to the underworld. It is a plague mobile. It's an orgy with a steering wheel. It's so many things, isn't it? It's a hospital. It's a brothel. It's a zoo. It's like there's like just all this stuff. It's a septic horse box full of raving cunts. Who are these people on the bus? Like, if you don't know what the night bus is, and some people don't, like I did this material in Newcastle, and they don't have it. I found out on stage. But the night bus, it's like 2 a.m. You're at the bus stop, right? You see something on the horizon. Okay, it's got its hazard lights on, not for anything specific, just in general as a warning, right? No license plate, just the Jolly Roger, and it's coming towards you at a speed that suggests it has a jet engine because the driver's correctly identified that everyone on board the vehicle is a ticking time bomb of piss and shit and cum and puke, and they need to get them to their destination before the eggs hatch, right? So it pulls up to the bus stop, and this is the best bit, right? Because you can look up and see what you're in for on the bus, right? You can look up and see the rogues gallery of the sick and insane up there. For instance, once I was on there, and I looked up and I saw just something smush against the window, an arsehole, a bare arsehole, just 2 slices of nightmare ham right there. And it was sad. It looked sad, you know. It was dying to have a secret whispered into it. And the doors open. Somehow it's louder on the bus than off the bus. You go inside. The driver does not give you any eye contact because he doesn't want to take any responsibility for all the bastards in his caboose. You go around the corner. It's the Sodom and Gomorrah immersive theatre experience. There is everyone from every walk of life there. There's 4 guys around the same kebab. There's a toddler screaming covered in ketchup. There's couples in every bit of the life cycle of coupledom. You know, there's some breaking up. There's some ignoring each other. There's some who are kissing so violently it looks like one's lost their keys inside the other one. Everyone's there. The guy who has the very intense conversation on his earbuds, and then you realise he doesn't have any earbuds. There's the 2 guys in suits who think cocaine is a seasoning. There's white girls rapping, and then in amongst them all, 2 elderly American tourists just going, I just need to get to St. Pancras. And you know, everyone there is pissed out of their minds because as the bus takes a corner, you hear 1,000 bottles roll across the deck. As you are on the ghost ship full of the souls that hell didn't want. So I'm learning to drive. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for listening to me. That's the end. My name is Ben Pope. Goodbye. Thank you.